Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Power of Knowing Forum's Knowledge Nexus Talks, a LinkedIn Live episode 214 today. We are in the discussion of the topic of Unlock the Future, the role of geospatial data, services, and technology in the next generation digital transformation. To have this topic discussed, we have Mr. Vishnu Chandra, former Director and General at HOG NIC Geospatial Technology Services Division. Without further ado, let's welcome our esteemed speaker to the podcast event. Sir, welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you.
How are you, sir?
Fine.
Sir, a small intro about yourself to the audience because this is a new topic that we are talking about, geospatial, right? And this has been there for the maps and many other pointers. Maps is one considered as the important point which we know. And how has this been a pointer where you think and your knowledge can help us understand it much better? Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Uh, as Thank you for giving me opportunity to be part of this podcast series. And I will say map. I am in this map and map services and geospatial from last more than 25 years or so. Associated with large part of my career was associated with National Informatics Center, Ministry of Electronics and IT. I was Deputy Director General and heading Geospatial and Technology Service Group of NIC.
Hmm.
Currently, post superannuation, I am advisor in Ministry of Panchayati Raj, dealing with Geo ICT and spatial planning for rural local bodies, panchayats. And I'm also associated with various expert group associated with Department of Science Technology, ISRO, and also independent directors in few companies like SatSure, Drishya, Haryana government companies, and so. I was instrumental in setting up a GIS platform of an IC called Bharat Maps, which is now being used as a service for large government digital transformation projects. Now, in context of today's topic, uh, the aspect like geospatial data and digital transformation, it has a history of evolution. When we I started my career in early 90s, this word geospatial was not there. People used to talk about GIS, maps, cartography, and GIS and map cartography was not mainstream IT. Technology used to be proprietary, data used to be proprietary, and of course, application is quite restricted. Data was also restricted. So that was the phase early 90s. With NIC, with certain private sector like Infosys, TCS, and other things, IT started emerging. And initially, with satellite-based computer communication network (NICNET) services started happening. And that time, terrestrial network was not that strong. That's why satellite-based computer communication network connecting all districts. As technology advances, IT systems advances, evolution of GIS started happening. So when we say digital transformation, early days were we call digitization or computerization, or what we used to use the word government informatics. So mostly data entry to create database, generate some reports. Then we have come to mid 90s, some kind of uh, web page or client server architecture, the technology change happened. We started coming to the age of digitalization where process enablement has started happening. And that time, even policy reforms has happened in geospatial domain. 10 agencies, including NIC, ISRO, have been authorized to digitize Survey of India topographic maps, which was the base information. And certain pilots of GIS started happening. That is what you can say 95 to 2000, before our arrival of internet. Once internet has emerged and web concept has started coming, then bringing data on common platform, integrating data which was heterogeneous sources, eh, combining all data, digitizing Survey of India topographic maps as a single mosaic of entire India, creating mosaic of satellite data, integrating geographic data with MIS data, which was the legacy databases started emerging. So those in mid 2005 when internet started maturing, this started happening. 2008 around Google Maps has come, then concept of crowdsourcing and API has started slowly emerging. So data exchange through API, cloud technology started maturing. So geospatial data on cloud platform integrating with workflows, and then now today sharing API, having API platforms, exchange of data. So now from digitalization to digital transformation, we are trying to generate value, business proposition, customer centric service of delivery. So this is what has happened in last 3 4 decades. Now with emerging technology, geographic data has become much more evidence driven decision support system with integration of AI, ML, blockchain, IoT, and other technologies. So this is what Geo AI, Geo IoT. Now this is what has started emerging now. So you say that I say GIS or geospatial or geography is a platform by default. If you talk about the analog system, geography is a platform by default where all man-made and natural events interact simultaneously. Whereas IT is so it means in real world parallel processing is happening. Whereas in computing world it was all sequential. Geography we call science of where.
Hmm.
Computing is sequential, and with emergence of digital technologies, including various data capture platforms like UAV, LIDAR, satellite, aerial platforms, IoT, which is you call it a science of when, and then processing part, how, big data, AI, ML, and so many things, and then what you call service delivery. That is what end to end geospatial now. So science of when, science of what and how, and science of where. So this as
Yeah.
a ecosystem is now known as geospatial. So
Hmm.
ultimately, each digital platform has to have be around. Now today situation is geospatial, geo by design.
Hmm.
You have to have a spatial thinking as part of this is what as part of digital public infrastructure, geo vision of digital transformation, which I have just conveyed you. And with emerging cloud computing technology, quantum technology, and all that,
Hmm.
we are now going towards data as a service, insight as a service, product as a service, and what you call platform as a service, and all those kind of things.
Correct.
This is what, in nutshell, setting the context, the what you call geospatial vision of digital transformation.
Thank you for that, sir. It was a detailed information that we had not about heard about it, or we had only when we talk about geospatial, we were talking only about maps, nothing else. Right. So with that, I have certain pointers which I wanted to take your inputs on how this geospatial is. What is one real world problem geospatial data is solving today that people don't talk enough? Because this topic itself is due for me, sir. So I wanted your inputs on how, or being an expert here.
You see, there are many real world problems in day to day life since every problem has location dimension.
Hmm.
So, irrespective of domain sector, every sector is getting affected by geospatial or location intelligence.
Hmm.
So, like what people talk about the climate resilience planning, what you call estimation of flood hazards, monitoring deforestation, predicting floods, helping authorities for vulnerability, vulnerable areas. These are the one of the, I mean, people, particularly in conventional legacy system, people don't talk about. Other is the unsaid territory. Today, there are many startups, many areas where fintech geospatial integration is happening. Means, say, for example, crop insurance, agriculture credits, products for land mortgage, real estate, where banks are involved, rendering farmer specific services based on crop insurance model, and insurance model is developed using earth observation and satellite data. And crop vulnerability could be due to flood, cyclone, pest, anything. See, so these are the areas where earlier, say, banking and financial institutions were not using earth observation and geospatial or space tech for that matter. So this has started happening now. Other is complete, say, infrastructure planning. You must have heard about the PM
Hmm.
Gati Shakti. So complete infrastructure planning, supply chain management, logistic management. And now another frontier which is now getting open up. And as per new geospatial policy 2022, there are targets for, say, what you call digital
Hmm.
twins. So creating digital twin of physical real world, and that digital twin in a simulated environment get real-time information from sensors from ground, and you do the using predictive modeling, you do what city will look like 10 years down the line, and then you take corrective measures. So these are the things which are emerging. Other thing which is rather today used as a retrofitted systems, integrating geospatial with workflow of governance
Hmm.
system. See, most of the governance projects were defined, were not designed taking geospatial into consideration. They are designed as a MIS system. So retrofitting means geotagging the information, integrating representing tabular information or textual information on map, bringing decision rules and integrating and analyzing and showing the outcome as a DSS on map. Now, that workflow management and processing part is geo enabled. That is a very challenging task because that is the point where AI ML for analytics will be used. So AI ML based GIS and DSS with respect to particular region
Hmm.
location. So these are the areas, and any area, labor management, human resource management, tracking of your human resources, your digital marketing, any area, because every subject has location intelligence inherently to connect with the
True.
real world. So that is what.
Sir, now you spoke about so many avenues and so many problems it can solve, right? Now, is that the small startups are leveraging these kind of technology, or they are still not aware of what geospatial can give them? How do we look at, or how can small business or startups leverage geospatial technology without a huge investment? Because when we talk about any adoption, there is always an investment that comes in. So how do we look at this piece, sir?
See, geospatial startup or space startups now a
Hmm.
reality. This is happening. One is due to what you call policy reforms, which has happened during last 4 years or 5 years. because earlier space policy or geospatial policy was quite
Hmm.
restricted in terms of accessibility of data. So data was the major issue because most of the geospatial data, whether from ground or from space, were because of Britishers' legacy, it was with government. Survey of India, ISRO, Forest Survey of India, National Bureau of Soil Survey, Soil and Land Use Survey of India, and so
Hmm.
on. So after 2020-21, many of the data sets from government has been released either as a free download or through
Hmm.
APIs. So that has opened up avenues for startup to experiment with that data.
Okay.
And open data platform, because national accessibility policy came in 2012, NIC has developed data.gov.in. So a lot of ministerial, interministerial data was put on public domain.
Hmm.
So that is available and startups are using. Other is many of the global platforms dealing with Earth observation has released their data and maps like Open Series Map, OSM data, and there is a OSM community who are regularly updating data. Those maps and data are available in public domain and anybody can consume and use it. In India, there are many people who are part of OSM community. There are Earth observation like Sentinel, Landsat data sets. Certain data at certain accuracy, certain resolution are available as a free download or through APIs. So many of the startups are using that. So if those startup has a capacity to analyze, consumes, and having a skill set with human resources, AI, ML, they are producing lot of solutions for specific problems. And many of the space startup having two
Hmm.
streams with them. One, they are manufacturing the satellite because through space policy, government is moving for public-private partnership, and government asking to startup and companies to manufacture satellites and launch.
Okay.
And they are creating complete policy and liberalized framework. There is an organization called
Hmm.
InSpace under Department of Space who is facilitating that, including access of the technology developed by ISRO and transfer of those technology to private
Okay.
sector. So last say National Geospatial Policy 2022, Space Policy 2023, Drone Policy 2021 has created a very positive ecosystem for startup to operate. Major challenge is, of course, human resource is once you have private sector satellites in orbit, how downstream data return of investment applications. So startup has to be ready to create POCs to convince decision makers and users to invest in those applications. That is a
Hmm.
challenge in coming.
Sir, now
You got my
with
point.
yes, sir, yes, sir, I got your point, sir. Now coming into that kind of liberalization that we are having right at the moment, where government also is looking at lot of things that has to be looked at. Now, again, what would be the biggest myth about geospatial data that I think is to be burst out
See,
right now, sir?
this geospatial data, as I said earlier, also is not merely a map or cartographic representation of some real world object.
Hmm.
It is much more than that.
Okay.
So that is a myth, and that myth also creates some kind of what you call fear among developer community,
Hmm.
because in market if you found, you will find many good developer using IT tools and technologies or API ecosystem available in the market. But if I tell them ki how you should start using REST-based API, map APIs,
Hmm.
they feel some kind of fear. How will you, how I will write code in same JavaScript program?
Hmm.
So ultimately in market, you will get a skill set with IT tools, but the gap part is how should they consume map APIs within same workflow? So you need de-skilling, reskilling, and how should I integrate your AI ML model to make more informed decision making tools? So ultimately, the fear with respect to map and data leading to these kind of further fears,
Hmm.
because there is a skilling gap in teaching also, because geospatial science and geospatial technology is so multidisciplinary and multi dimension. The computer science education, the people who are doing say, civil engineering, mining engineering, and all that, they are all studying some part of map.
Yeah.
But when skill set is needed for convergent ecosystem, they still have a some kind of fear or myth, whatever you call it, with respect to geographic data. So that has to be broken.
So I think what you're saying is, one way is that technology is enabled, but if you have to really look at geospatial as a service or a space where you need to know, it is not easy for a technology person to take those APIs or the available sets that are there and use it straightly. They get
See,
confused.
see, that is not the issue. Issue is, hey, somehow what has happened, people are very, very friendly in using Google APIs.
Hmm.
See,
Okay.
Google has done a lot of good thing in that sense.
Yeah.
Google has enabled larger IT community to use Google API and integrate, whether it is Zomato or Swiggy or Uber,
Yeah.
they started consuming their
Yes.
APIs. But when I say NIC is leveraging their API, or any private sector Indian company is leveraging API, why they are not getting popular enough
Hmm.
for businesses?
Okay.
So you need some kind of uh, government is taking initiative to create, that is also part of geospatial policy, to create unified geographical interface where different agencies from government and private sector can publish their APIs and make it available to people with some kind of template, source code, and all that for further consumption and usage.
Wonderful. Sir, any specific insight that you can tell us where geospatial has changed the course of a decision or a strategy, sir?
See, in recent past, I say that being a part of NIC,
Mm.
NIC services were declared what you call uh, has to continue 24 by 7 in government, and COVID-19 has made an ICGI service, I can say, at least, including in Arogya Setu,
Mm.
and extending, say, mapping of containment zone, vaccination delivery, all kind of what you call delivery systems with respect to particular population densities, logistics issues. So that is what geospatial, where we have geotagged all kind of infrastructure, health infrastructure, COVID labs, supply supply of drugs in vaccines. So and then providing accessibility to it and decision support to it. So that is what recently which we have done, that kind of thing. Many other agencies in private sector has also, like Map My India and all those things, they have facilitated that. Other is, which am quite proud of, there is a platform called Parivesh,
Mm. Okay.
which is a green platform which we have developed for Environment and Forest Ministry, What the full form of Parivesh is: proactive and responsive facilitation by interactive and virtuous environment single window hub.
Oh, okay.
So this platform is basically for all infrastructure projects and activities for environmental clearances, forest clearances, coastal zone clearances, and wildlife clearances.
Hmm.
So many industries and as a proponent apply on this platform for clearances. Now, this platform earlier version was only textual data. They used to
Hmm.
submit their application in a form without any, and geo information, the topo sheet and topographic maps, they have to use scan, upload it
Okay.
with no geo analysis. So we have integrated with the entire workflow and facilitated a proponent so that they can know their area through GIS interface, what are the things available, and even they can verify their location
Hmm.
and know your approval. And at the back end, we have created database of decision rules from, say, lakhs of OM, government OM.
Hmm.
Okay, suppose you can, certain activities are not allowed from, say, 5 kilometer radius from protected area boundaries or eco-sensitive boundaries or tiger reserve. So those rules we have built and integrated with GIS workflow.
Okay. Okay.
And then once proponent agree, they can fill the common application form. Common application form, they can provide online map and locations of alternate site where deforestation has to be done because of some infrastructure project. Then it moves to control, moves to decision support to 39 expert committees. Expert committee has access of all geographic data of that area, proponent area, in terms of the current project as well as earlier project, on all geographic information from Pollution Control Board, Survey of India, ISRO, and based on certain decision tool, they can grant clearance or reject it. Once the clearance is granted, automatically clearance order is issued with certain catalog conditions. So catalog condition also gives information at backend as a database, say, for post clearance compliance monitoring.
Hmm.
So in entire workflow, Geospatial has been integrated for decision support. And today we have a complete clearance information which can be used and further analyzed for sustainable development goal in terms of further analyzing and taking up the policy reforms. Okay, what projects we should allow in particular area, how to protect, say, Western Ghat.
Hmm.
Already this area is saturated. All that kind of analysis you can do further using AIML. So this is what the workflow management. Other project is which you call Swamitwa, which deals with the drone mapping of village, abadi or residential area, which for property card generation and its integration with Gram Panchayat special development planning for what we call Gram Manchitra,
Okay.
where now we are using drone image of village abadi area for automated feature extraction using AIML for, say, rooftop solarization, road construction, uh, what you call water bodies management, water supply network, and so on. So these are the some of the things which has really uh, led to the change in understanding and decision making.
Sir, thank you for that detail. So what I have done while you are speaking, so I've took out the detail of Parivesh and I've put that here. So this is a platform that government has brought up where I think you should go through this. I'll put this pointer in the chat window so that everybody can have a look at it. This is the set of things that government has been putting. So I am giving you that whole information in terms of what survey parvesh.nic.in has been done. They are this is an initiative from Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change, right? So
Yeah.
This is what I took it from the internet while Vishnu Chandra sir was telling about it. So I've listed out and I've posted that in our comment section for the others to look at. Really impressive work that the government is doing in terms of what we are seeing, which is not being told, is what I see, sir. I think most of the initiatives are still getting implemented without having a huge cry where we are seeing this kind of development. Now, coming to that point, with the kind of data or the information that you've given to us today, is what are some surprising industries that now are tapping into geospatial data beyond obvious like ones like logistics and urban planning, right? So we are not going to use geospatial data only for these two things like logistics and urban planning. What else can be the surprising industry for
See,
us?
there are many areas, as I said, uh, retail brands, for example,
Hmm.
they can deploy location information to discover, say, fashion
Okay.
trends. I talked about digital
Hmm.
marketing also. So you can have a region location specific strategies using
Right.
geospatial. And there are areas like vertical farmings in, say, optimized lighting and water distribution in
Hmm.
urban farms. So uh, terrace cultivation, urban cultivation using 3D buildings and all that. There are even streaming providers employ GIS to personalize recommendation based on regional content preferences. Now, these are the areas which are, say, people
Yeah.
don't talk about. Say labor force management. I will give you another example in government. What you call rescue of child
Hmm.
labor from a specific mining location,
Okay.
for example. Rescuing from that location, putting them in rehabilitation, and moving them to regular school. This is a geographic
Okay.
problem. So you can say there is no end of application today where, say, entire logistic management will say, okay, today government is trying under PM Gati Shakti to connect all mode of transportation as a logistic unified logistic
Okay.
framework: waterways, road, railways,
Hmm.
air, and then policy reforms in terms of taxation and all
Okay.
that. So that is, then every city have to have unified geoportals for smart city applications, uh, storm water management, drainage management, utility management, and so on. Fintech integration with Geospatial, I
Yeah.
have already talked about, which was not even how banks can use Geospatial. 10 years back, it was not talked about. So that is what is happening. So Geospatial, since location intelligence importance has been understood, so everybody, last 5 years, 5 year back, it was a craze to get geotagged
Right.
information, whether it is a toilet, whether it is houses, all roti kapda
Hmm.
makan scheme are getting
Hmm.
geotagged. So this is what has started. So now with more technology into it, with AI, ML, and other things, geotagging toilets and then authenticating image of toilets using AI, ML. This is what we have done. Whether that image is a false image,
Okay. Okay.
and then releasing funds to the beneficiary, the subsidy and all that, linking to that. So these kind of things are happening.
Sir, heard about most of the schemes, but how is it getting implemented? How are they making this kind of transitions? We were not in a position to understand, or you've given us a lot of information in terms of what are the government initiatives that are there. And this is really mind boggling, sir. So it is very nice to hear such initiatives from the government, but which is not come into light or many people don't know. Coming in that stage, as a leader, how can we make geospatial insights relatable and actionable for teams who may not be tech savvy, guys?
See, the focus should be on data driven
Hmm.
storytelling. So somebody is not tech savvy, and how to make him understand, say, heat map for a, say, consumer footfalls for particular item in particular
Hmm.
area. So you have to have some kind of data driven storytelling.
Okay.
One of the things which we are now experimenting to see, panchayat functionary for example, they are not tech
Hmm.
savvy. How should I make him understand solarization tool
Okay.
created using AI ML driven feature extracted of rooftop on GIS? So we are now integrating with that data driven storytelling with what you call gaming technology,
Okay. Okay.
gaming application. So integrating, making you demystify GIS
Hmm.
AIML through a storytelling ecosystem, and gaming application is one of them.
Okay.
So these kind of experiments we are trying to do, because how to make non-technical people who are a decision maker sitting in local bodies, that is a
True.
huge challenge. So this is then complete strategies for digital public infrastructure, where, and digital public infrastructure using cloud native platforms as a what you call geospatial knowledge infrastructure, GKI. Now it is the
Hmm.
term is being used, where data as a service, insight as a service, product as a service, analysis as a service, all these kind
Hmm.
of things, so that in a maybe a storytelling form can be conveyed to the people.
Sir, coming to our pointers, because I see this topic can be divided into a bigger discussion because lot of things are there which we don't know. Now, coming to that, we want to understand on few pointers on how the disruptions and innovations and big picture are that is happening. We will go into those pointers and see how we can look at pointers there, sir. First, I want to understand
Okay.
how is geospatial technology redefining industries with we least expect, like healthcare and retail? You've given little detail, but how is that we
Yeah,
can look at more in terms of that, sir?
I will let you know. See, healthcare, for example, has uh, two things. One, see, one is what you call health condition mapping, disease
Hmm.
disease mapping. Before GIS, IT, and other things, when map making used to be done, what you call medical geography, medical cartography is a subject in
Okay.
itself. When I say about disease mapping, you try to find out areas or locations which are vulnerable to certain diseases.
Hmm.
It could be a, for example, could be a vector-borne disease. It could be some kind of a waterborne disease, and how that vector-borne disease or water-borne disease will flow under the certain environmental conditions. Environmental conditions means rainfall, wind velocity, wind direction, and
Hmm.
so on. So there are models where one is based on, say, certain water quality parameter. You say that these are the areas which has excess of fluoride. So it will lead to this kind of diseases. Okay. There are areas where, say, swine. So how that swine bacteria vector will move in in the, under the influence of rainfall, wind direction, other things. So you try to map a vulnerability zone. So complete
Okay.
data modeling. So integrated disease mapping and surveillance is one area, and based on this integrated disease mapping and surveillance, you try to do you try to assess health infrastructure mapping, health infrastructure conditions, what kind of uh, health facilities at different locations should be there,
Hmm.
how people should access that, what kind of doctors, what kind of lab facilities, what kind of things should be there at particular location. If some location has a arsenic content more in
Hmm.
water, what kind of PHC and what kind of doctors, what kind of health infrastructure should be there? So these are the things which are very, very critical to uh, health infrastructure. Patient tracking is
Hmm.
another area. You can track the patient. And apart from that, with AI/ML, the entire health community, particularly doctors, are building training set for, say, uh, related to cancer, related to say what you call cardiograms, and then providing decisions based on those images, X-ray images, your ultrasounds. So image-based analysis of those things using
Hmm.
AI/ML, and then integrating with Geo platform.
Thank you for that, sir. It is a great knowledge that the government is putting around and the systems around it. Now, can we share one? I will not say out of the box, because the innovations and the pointers that you have spoken so far is all of out of box is what I feel, sir. It is more pointers that government is trying to bring to so much that it can integrate the transport system and other stuffs. So, what is one geospatial trend that CEOs and top executives must pay attentions right now with the kind of information that you have shared? There are a lot of avenues, but what could be one or two avenues that these top management peoples
See,
can help us or help the industries to grow with this kind of technology that is available and which government is bringing up,
see,
sir?
see, one major trend is what you call, I'm calling
Geo
Geo
AI.
AI,
Okay.
combining geospatial with AI to have
Mm.
machine learning, to have a predictive analytics model. Because any kind of AI, what we call these days large language model, with without geospatial will not be enough. Say predictive analysis in areas banking, insurance, agriculture using GUI. Similarly, transportation. GUI can detect the traffic detection, cargo tracking, obstacle
Mm.
avoidance. See now, particularly I have heard recently, say even there are say the private sector, Map India, Map My India, and all that, they are bringing emergency alerts while a transport vehicle is traveling on road. Emergency alert in terms of speed breakers, some kind of what you call, if road is not good, some curvature. So different kind of things are happening where obstacles can be avoided, heavy traffic routes, supply chain management. Then GUI can also be used for, say, smart cities, for what you call digital
Mm.
twins, where real-time information from the ground and physical infrastructure on map. Then you can do the predictive modeling on real-time data, and then come out a decision, say, like as I said, 5 years down the line, what is going to happen to city. So all those kind of things, defense, healthcare, all these are the areas where GOAI and along with GIS, geospatial and other technologies can be used.
Wonderful, sir. How can professionals in a non-technical roles like marketing, HR, finance leverage geospatial insights for smarter decisions? Any thought around it, sir?
See, as I said earlier, say professionals are my again say for marketing, digital marketing, business professional, financial professionals, all these people can use geospatial as a location intelligence for for their for their work, and that they can get benefited through location information. So retail users in terms of consumer footfalls, financial market people, again There could be a location based factors which is going to affect the businesses in some way or other. It could be even flood and cyclone and all that, including that, how the business finances are going to be affected. Supply chain disruption, for example. So all this information can be used by businesses as financial market people.
Great, sir. Great. Sir, I am really getting fascinated the way that government is putting things on here. One last piece of information, which I think with the closure of this episode, you had told it in the start of the episode where you said there's a lot for geospatial to be done, not only maps, right? And that is very specific. Now, and also you made a pointer where you said the development community is using the geo or google apis and stuff that is to be taken and consumed because it is given a lot of usage free things. If you give an advice or a piece of information, freshers entering to this field, what would it be, sir, and what should they concentrate? Because that, I think, one piece where information we are not having for people to get into geospatial, sir.
See, what I will say, any fresher in the field, they have to have bring develop spatial thinking. He should be ready to
Hmm.
collaborate. He should be ready to understand domain or cross domain learning, because pure computer science people, if he does not understand the dimensions related to, for example, agriculture or health, he cannot think what kind of location based solutions is required. So finest GIS specialist or data expert, the problem solving, reasoning, adaptability, all these basic communication skills is very important to any fresher. But there is a challenge in terms of what you call skill gap in industry, whether it is government or private sector. See, when I say it's a geospatial end to end, from survey mapping to data creation, data processing, workflow management, and delivery of service. In entire range, there are large number of technologies on MIS side, emerging technology side, geospatial side, earth observation, remote sensing side, ground survey sites are used. So you need people at different. If you talk about what you say in terms of technology pyramid, if I say skill pyramid, so at technical professional skill level, you need people at bottom, inverted pyramid. If I draw at the bottom, I need, say, programmers, developers, and surveyors, which are trained on COTS and programming languages, ops, and all those tools technology. Then I need solution architect, domain expert at the middle level, DBAs. Then at higher level, I need project management and project managers, project leaders. But if I go on user side, at lowest most level, I need IT and GIS
Okay.
enablers. Then I need people, skilled people, which who can be department heads, what you can call process owners. Then highest level, you need what you call mission director, decision makers, approvers. So until less this is, and you have a skill
Hmm.
gap at every, see, developer level, there is an IT developer, but geo enablement of IT developer has not happened. You have a solution architect, but geospatial solution architect is not there. So this is what any fresher, anything who is doing computer science or civil engineering or mining engineering, he should do the cross domain learning to rise in this area.
Sir, pointers taken. So I have just putting a note here, many more. So freshers to look at developers, DB specialists, process owners, architects, project managers. These are the people who are needed for this to be strengthened much more with the initiatives that the government is doing. Am I right in saying that, sir? Wonderful.
Yes, yes,
Sir, with this, I think the kind of knowledge that I'm taking with the information that you shared on government pointers is huge. I will definitely sit with you and write a detailed newsletter on this, what we've covered so far, and we'll bring out all the sites. One site that I have taken is parivesh.nic.in. That's the only site that I've taken. You have listed out many sites that you said the government has put. I would like to go in detail in each of the site. I will call you and take the details, and I'll draft a newsletter which can go for the larger audience, sir. But with the time running short for us, I will just take a short summary on what it is. Not a short summary, it is, there's a lot of information that you have shared, sir. I've taken some pointers, so I'll write or tell you some of the pointers that we started with. We started with your introduction in what the government is doing and what is geospatial in terms, right? In that is what we started. Then we moved into geospatial data and how digitization, digital land recording, and digital transformation took a place and how it started out. That's what we spoke about. Then we spoke about real time examples where geospatial can solve problems, which is not only related to maps, it is more about related to say location mapping, health records, land mapping, surveys, and issue of card, this land record cards and stuff. That is what we spoke about. How small industries or small businesses can look at location based businesses, location based data analysis, how they can use. That is what we spoke about. And there was some pointers which we spoke about, myths of geospatial data, which is what we spoke about. Then we had some insights that the government is put in taking pointers from decision making and strategy. And also we spoke about what are the surprising industries that are now tapping into geospatial data beyond logistics and urban planning. We spoke about IoTs, we spoke about urban planning, society, water management, power management, and logistics. Lot of information that we took about. And finally, what we spoke about, what are the disruptions, innovations, and big pictures that we can see coming and redefining spaces on technology. There are out of box pointers which you have mentioned, so many pointers that are there. And next point that you wanted us to look at, us or the leaders to look at, what that they look at as a trend that they can look for future industries to come up, what is geospatial going to do, and role of marketers and HR finance leveraging the sites also for better decision making is what we spoke about. And the final point that we spoke about is on how freshers who are entering this market, to understand this, they have to scale up and grow in understanding what is geospatial. And there are a lot of things that are there in the market for them to learn and grow. And you suggested that they should be in a position to adapt to change and be ready to experiment. Am I right in saying that, sir? Wonderful.
yes, yes.
Sir, with this, it's been a great session for me, at least as an eye opener. And to be very frank, I only had envisaged to uh, geospatial to two things. One was map, one was location based, where Zomato or Swiggy used to deliver products. That is what I had looked at. But you've given insights which are beyond what I was thinking, sir. Great insights for me. And with this, I would like to thank you for joining us and giving us an opportunity to talk on a different topic which we have never done in our 213 episodes. Now we are 214th episode. Thank you for joining us, sir. We have streamed this to
Thank you.
YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. We hope that this session or discussion was valuable. I will say it is a valuable session for me, at least, to take a lot of pointers. I will relook at what you have said, and I look at this episode again to understand many more pointers. And I'll put a page also of where we talk about what is geospatial and more details on the subject. With this, I would like to say our next episode is going to happen tomorrow, which is We are talking about secret of unlocking your power organization in deep decisions, for which we'll have Rajiv, Sunil, and Thomas coming at 6:30 p.m. IST tomorrow. I'll just bring up that pointer, tomorrow's point. This is the pointer that we will be discussing at tomorrow's session at 6:30 p.m. Sir, thank you. I would like to conclude the session with that. Lot of insights, sir. Thank you again.
Thank you.